Hello and welcome. This is Mark from Set My Site, and this is the second of 3 tutorials to show you how to use your blog. And in this tutorial, we're going to go over some of the more advanced features that are built into your blog editor so you can learn how to get the most out of your blog. So we're still going to be using the same sample site that we used before, and we're going to be using the same post that we posted in our basic tutorial. So if you haven't watched that tutorial yet, go ahead and watch that one. But this is going to dive into using the more advanced features to help you format your blog to make it look exactly the way that you want it to. So before I jump into the back end, what I want to do is I want to take a quick preview of the post that we've already created. As you can see here, it's causes and treatment of gingivitis. So I'm going to click on that blog post so I can access this specific blog post page and take a look at how it's all laid out. So as you can see, I have my title up on top and then my featured image below. That's the standard format. Then as we scroll down, we'll notice that the text kind of runs together and there's not anything that really breaks it up all that nicely. And it seems a bit hard to read like this. So if we wanted to maybe clean it up a little bit and add some headings to the blog post, that might look really nice for the user. And I would definitely recommend doing that. So we're going to jump to the back end of this blog post page so we can go ahead and edit it using the built-in features. This is the blog post page. And again, it looks very similar to the front where there's no breaks in the text and there's no headings. So how do we make this blog post look more similar to this, which I've created on my text editor on my computer? As you can see, I have different headings here for each section, and we want those to really stick out. I have some bold in here. So how do we go ahead and do that? I'm going to show you how to do that with this tutorial. So the first thing you'll notice is you have some options built in here, and these are the basic options. But you can actually unlock more options by clicking on this little icon here. It's called the toggle toolbar option. So click on that, and that brings in a few more options. So I like to have that open just in case I want to be able to access some of these options down here as well as I start to format my blog post. So the first thing I notice is that over here, I have this word types, and that's supposed to be my first heading. So how do we add a heading? Well, I locate that area in my blog post editor where it says types, and I'll highlight that. Once I highlight that, you can see this drop down here that says paragraph. This is going to be the list of various headings, and these are pre-formatted font types. So you can select heading 1 through heading 6. Heading 1 is going to be your largest heading, while heading 6 is going to be your smallest. And normally in my blog posts for supporting headings that are not the title, I like to use heading 2. So I'm going to click on heading 2. That automatically makes my type a little bit bigger, and it's going to give, if you want to dive into kind of the HTML of it, it's going to give it what's called an H2 tag here, and that's going to be something that search engines look for. They look for what are called H tags. So you're going to want to use a heading from time to time in your blog posts because it tells search engines what are the overarching kind of sections within the blog post and what are they titled at. So I'm going to use H2 here. I'm also going to use H2 for causes. So I highlight causes and I select H2. And now I'm starting to format my blog post with lots of different headings. I also notice down here under types, I have a couple of areas here that need to be bolded. So I want those to be bolded too. So I'll show you how to do that. It's quite easy if you use any text editor. You'll be familiar with this, but all I need to do is highlight what I want to have bolded, locate the B for bold, and click on that. So I'll do that for both of these, and that takes care of that. Let's see what else there is. I have other causes and risk factors, which is a title, and then I have the first couple of words in each of those sections is bolded. So let's go ahead and take care of that. I'll select that, and then I'll take H2 again, and then I'm going to bold each of these. It takes a little bit of time, but it'll be well worth it once you're done with your blog post because it'll look very, very nice and very professional. And everybody wants to have a professional and nice looking blog. Okay, that's done. And I think signs and symptoms looks like it's another heading, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then we have some bullet points here. Those look like they are just fine, so we'll leave those. Diagnosis will be another heading. Treatment, another heading. Professional dental care is another heading. Care at home. Complications. Let's see, do we use complications include here? Nope, we just leave that as is. Okay, so that's it. We've got all the headings done. So what I can do now is before I want to update my post, because if I click the update button, what that'll do is actually publish all of my changes live to the web. What I want to do is I want to preview it first. So I'm going to click on preview changes. Once I click on preview changes, it'll automatically open up a new tab in my browser so I can see the changes. So you can see now it uses the formatting of the headings to show the different sections here. And it looks a lot better already. Now I might want to add a couple more things to this blog post. First of all, I maybe want to have a little bit more spacing between the previous paragraph and then the following heading so that there seems to be a little bit more separation. That might look a little nicer. So I'm going to go back to my editor and I'm just going to double space there. And I won't do it for all of it, just for the sake of expediency. So let me go ahead and preview that now. So I'll click on preview changes again. Now it's going to refresh my preview. And I'll scroll down and you can see with the double spacing, it looks even nicer now. Now, what if I wanted other causes and risk factors to actually be a subheading to causes? Because oftentimes in articles, you may have headings and then subheadings beneath those headings. Well, I can use a smaller heading for other causes and risk factors. I'll highlight that again, and instead of using heading 2, I can use heading 3, which is the heading just beneath. I'll click on preview again. Scroll down. And now it's using a smaller font. It doesn't look much different. So if I wanted to actually really modify it, maybe I could use an even smaller heading. Let's say heading 5. Let's see what that looks like. And that looks a little better. I want it to have a little bit smaller of a font because I want it to be noticeably as a subheading to my H2, which is causes. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, what if I wanted to add perhaps another image within this post? Well, that's actually easy to do as well. So now I want to add an image next to my causes paragraph, next to this text here. So here you'll see this is the causes area, and I want my image to go kind of right here next to all of this text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click at the beginning of that paragraph, so you can see my cursor blinking right there next to the capital T, and I'm going to click on Add Media. So I can either add media that I've already uploaded to my website, or I can just upload a brand new picture from my computer, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I'll click on Select Files. I have this image called Dentist 2. I'm going to use that. Then I'm going to go ahead and click Insert into Post. Now I have my image here, and actually I can modify the size of the image. So if I, well, first of all, I don't want my image to be on top. I want my image to be next to the text. So first, let's address that issue. That's pretty easy. It automatically gives you these alignment options here that pop up on the image. So every time I click on my image, that alignment option will pop up. So I'm going to click on Align Left because I want my image to be to the left of my text. Once I do that, it automatically moves the text to the right of the image so that the text wraps around the image properly. But what if I wanted to make my image bigger? I can click on Edit, and I can choose Custom Size. And then I can choose a specific width or height. If you have a specific width or height, you could enter it in there. Another option is to click on the image and simply drag it out. So you have a couple of options there to resize it, but I think I want it to be about maybe 350 pixels wide. And so we'll leave it there. So let's click preview and see what my image looks like now. scroll down, and there's my image. And you can see underneath the image, it also adds a caption. So you may want to modify the caption or completely remove it. Let me show you how to do that. Go back to the image and click on the image. Click on edit, and you can see the captions right in here. Let's just completely remove that caption so nothing shows up underneath. I'll just delete the caption, click update, and now I'm going to click preview again. I'll scroll down, and now you can see I have the image without the caption there. You can add as many images as you want to throughout the text of the website itself. One other thing you could do with your image, click on the image, I'll click on edit, and then you can see it says link to. This is if you want to create a hyperlink from your image to perhaps another website page or another page on the internet. So you click the drop down and you can choose a custom URL. And you would just simply type in whatever URL you want here. Click update, preview changes. Oops, here's my preview here. And now if I click on this, it's going to take me to Google because that's what I typed in. I'll click back. But what about adding links throughout the rest of the text? How do we do that? Well, that's pretty easy too. So let's say I want to add a link to where it says virus right here. I'm going to select that text just as I've done now, and I'm going to locate this link option in our toolbar here. Click on that, and it's going to say paste the URL or type to search an existing URL on your website. Well, I'm going to paste in. I'm going to actually just type in www. You should actually type in the http://www.google.com, and then you can click on apply. Now you can see it shows that there is a link to Google on that particular word. If I preview my changes, once again, scroll down, and you can see virus is now highlighted with the hyperlink. If you click on virus, though, you see it opens up in the same tab. And a lot of times when you have your own blog post, you want people to open up a link in a separate tab so they don't actually leave your web page. That's doable as well. I'm going to click back here, go back to my post. Let's find that virus link one more time. I'm going to click on that and click on the edit icon to edit the link. Then I'm going to click on this gear option because it gives me link options here. So we'll click on that. Then you'll see something that says open link in a new tab. Check that box. Once you have that checked, click update and then preview your changes. Now when I find that link and I click on it, it takes me to Google in a new tab. All right, that works. Very briefly, I'm going to go over some of the other options here in your toolbar. Let's say you wanted to make all of this centered. Well, just like any other text editor, you can align your text how you'd like. So I'm going to click on Align Center here to center that text. If I wanted it to align it to the right, I could do that by clicking on Align Right. That's pretty easy. What if I wanted to make this section bullet points? I'm going to select all of my text in this section and then locate my bullets option, which is a bulleted list, and click on that. What if I wanted it to be a numbered list? Well, I have a numbered option right to the next of it, so I'm going to click on that, and that turns it into a numbered list. If I no longer want to have bullets, I'll click on that numbered list again, and that will remove all of my bullets. If I wanted to make some text italic, I could select that text and then click on the italics button, and that will italicize my specific text. If I wanted to strike out some text, for example, something that may be redacted or no longer relevant, I can select that text and use the strike through, and that will strike through on my text. If I wanted to make some text a different color. I could select the text that I wanted to change the color on. And this A with the large bold line underneath it is the text color option. Click on the drop down arrow and I'm going to click on, let's say, this orange. Now I have orange text. Those are the main options that you're going to need to use throughout the blog post. And in the next video tutorial, oh, actually, before we end this tutorial, there are two more options that I want to show you. Categories. So every blog post should be categorized. So if I look at my categories list over here, if I click on a specific category, for example, research, it's going to bring up an archive of all of my blog posts that belong to that specific blog post category. So that's pretty helpful for people who are researching a specific category. But what if you wanted to add a new category? Well, you could click on this Add New Category option right here. I'm going to call this category My New Category. And then once you've done that, once you've come up with your title for the category, please click Add New Category. And then it shows you the new category here. And I can take it out of my old category if I wish to, and only use my new category for this blog post. So you can continue to make unlimited categories as needed as you type in your new blog posts. The next section is tags. And tags are kind of like search terms. These are words or phrases that you want to associate with this specific blog post so that when people are using your website and they're using the search option, they can actually type in these types of words and this blog post will show up for those words. So to give you an example, this blog post is really about gingivitis. So I really want that to be a tag. So I'll type in gingivitis and I can click add. I can also type in anything else that I think is appropriate. So for example, inflammation. And I can click enter to add. I can type in purple gums and soft gums and perhaps treatments. So now I've added in these new tags, so it's easier for people to find this blog post as they search throughout my website. So that's it. Basically in this tutorial, just to cover what we've kind of went over, is how to format the text within the blog post using headings and using the different options on the toolbar. We also went over how to add images into your blog posts, and we also went over how to add new categories to your blog posts, as well as add tags to the blog posts. Thanks for watching.